Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, Mr. Siswoyo, and today we are going to explain about our discussion about the colorimetry. But first of all, we want to introduce ourselves first. So, my name is Kaila Priyandarindra Sotya and my ID number is 2237.
My name Arinda Maharani, my ID number is 22 and 66.
Bila Mutiara Zari, my ID number 22 and 17.
I am Arini Odina Damayanti and my ID number is 22 and 4.
And I am Tariq Simanjuntak, my ID number 22 and 68.
And my name is Dalita Yeshwarmani and my ID number is 22 and 36.
My name is Misal Nikita Prabandaru, my ID number is 2264.
So in here, we want to explain about the definition about the colorimeter, Faraday law, work principle, feature of colorimeter, type of colorimetric method, special features, advantage and disadvantage, and the application of colorimeter.
What is colorimetry? Colorimetry is an electroanalytical method based on the measurement of the quantity of electrical change that passes through a solution during an electromechanical reaction. The principle of colorimetry analysis is governed by Faraday law of electrolysis, which states that the mass of a subject's liberated and the electron during electrolysis is directly proportional to the quantity of electrical change that has passed through the electrolyte. Faraday law of electrolysis are fundamental principles that describe the relationship between the quantity of electricity passed through an electrolyte and the amount of subject deposit or liberty at the electrodes during electrolysis. First law of electrolysis. This law states that the mass of a subject's liberty and the electrode is directly proportional to the quantity of electrical change or Q and that is passed through an electrolyte. Second law of electrolysis. This law states that the mass of different subjects evolved or deposit with the patient of the same quantity of electricity, the proportional to the chemical equivalent. In summary, the first law focuses on the relationship between the quantity of electricity and the mass of single subjects, while the second law compares the mass of different subjects based on the chemical equivalent when the same quantity of electricity is passed through.
And the next our discussion is work principle. The principle of colorimetry involves the mixture of the quantity of electric charge in column passing through a solution during an electrochemical reaction to determine the amount of substance evolved. It is based on Faraday's law of electrolysis and Faraday first law. The mass of a substance produced at the electrode is directly proportional to the amount of electric charge passing through the solution. And Faraday's second law, the mass of different substrates produced by the same amount of electric charge are proportional to their chemical equivalent. Main method of colorimetry: one, concentration current colorimetry, and two, control potential colorimetry.
So before we want to use a colorimeter, we should to know about the main part of the colorimeter. So the colorimeter has three main parts. such as the electrolysis cell, potential stat, and device for determining the charge consumed by the analyte. So in here, we know in this picture that there are two types of the types of cells. The first one is a platinum gauge type. So in this platinum gauge type, the salt bridge is needed to prevent the reaction product formed at the counter. And the second one is mercury pool type. In this type, mercury cathode is particularly useful for separating easily reduced element. And the second one is the potentiostat. The potentiostat is electric hardware required to control a 3-electrode cell and equipped with a computer that gives the charge in the columns to complete the reaction. This part is also maintaining a constant electric potential during measurement. So in here, I want to explain more about the control potential colorimetry or potentiostatic colorimetry. So in this instrument, potential of a working electrode is held constant so that a quantitative oxidation or reduction of the analyte occurs. The current is initially high, but electricity is most commonly measured with an electrolytic integrator or from reading a colorimeter in series with the cell. So first of all, I want to explain about the principle of potentiostatic colorimetry. In the potentiostatic colorimetry, potential of the working electrode is held constant. This technique is similar to electrogravimetric method wherein the electrolysis is carried out at the fixed potential. However, the former is more convenient than the electrogravimetric method by the fact that the weighing step at the final stage, in this case mass of the product, is avoided. Hence, the control potential technique can therefore be applied to the system that yield deposit with a poor physical properties or antimony and the reaction that do not give a solid product at all. For example, electrolytic oxidation of arsenious acid to arsenic acid at the platinum anode. And the second one is the instrumentation. The instrumentation for potentiostatic colorimetry consists of potentiostat to maintain the constant potential and electrolysis cell. We can see in this picture. And then a chemical colorimeter or series with a working electrode. The chemical colorimeter such as hydrogen, oxygen colorimeter or silver colorimeter can be used to measure the number of coulomb or quantity of electricity. So the second one is cell assembly. The cell assembly consists of a platinum gauge working electrode in here and the saturated calomel electrode as the reference electrode. The counter electrode is separated from the test solution by a porous tube containing the same supporting electrolyte. And the second one is a potentiostat. A potentiostat is an electronic device which maintains the potential of the working electrode at a constant level relative to a reference electrode. The picture is a schematic diagram of a potential colorimetry. And the next one is the integrators. Most of the modern apparatus for potentiostatic colorimetry employ integrators to determine the number of coulomb required to complete the electrolysis. This ratio plays a role in determining the time needed to complete the electrolysis, since the electrical current will be directly proportional to electrode area and also directly proportional to the concentration C of the analyte. And the last is the application of potentiostatic colorimetry. So the first one is the first application of potentiostatic colorimetry. We can explain to inorganic analysis. In inorganic analysis, controlled potential colorimetric methods have a widespread use in the determination of several metal ions, as many 55 elements of the periodic table can be determined by the cathodic reduction of metal ions to a metallic state. And the second one is the analysis of radioactive materials. In this technique is widely adopted to the determination of uranium and plutonium, and thus finds extensive use in the nuclear energy field. Reduction of UO can be carried out the phosphoric acid medium with a mercury pool cathode. The sample containing 7 until 75 milligrams of uranium have been analyzed with accuracy around 0.1%. And the last one is the continuous monitoring of gas stream. In this potential statisticometry, determination of trace level concentration of oxygen in the gas stream can be done by controlled potential analysis. The cell consists of the pure silver cathode and the cadmium anode.
Now we will discuss about types of coulometer. There are several types of coulometer. In this presentation, we will discuss 5 types of coulometer only. The first is gasometric coulometers or hydrogen-oxygen coulometer. Gasometric coulometer is specifically in the context of hydrogen-oxygen coulometer is a highly precise electrochemical method used to measure the amount of electricity passing through an electrolytic cell. This is assessed by determining the volume of gas produced at the electrodes during the electrolysis of water. In the hydrogen-oxygen coulometer, water is electrolyzed into hydrogen and oxygen gases at the cathode and anode. The reaction in anode, ion hydroxide produce two molecule water, and the cathode for proton produce 2 molecule hydrogen gas. The volume of gas produced at the electrode is measured accurately using the gas burette. The electrode in gasometric coulometers is used platinum, and gas burette is connected to the electrolysis tube by means of a pressure rubber tube and is capable of moving vertically so as to adjust the pressure of the collected gases to atmospheric pressure before measuring the volumes of gases. And the electrolyte in gasometric coulometers is solution of potassium sulfate. Types of coulometer number 2 is silver coulometer. Silver coulometer is an example of gravimetric coulometer in which is the amount of metal deposit at cathode or the amount of metal stripped from an anode is determined. The silver coulometer operates based on Faraday's laws of electrolysis, which state that the mass of a substance deposited or dissolved at an electrode is directly proportional to the amount of electric charge passed through the electrolyte. A convenient and simple form of silver coulometer consists of a platinum disc or silver disc, which acts as cathode and contains a solution of 1 molar silver nitrate as the electrolyte. At the cathode have a reduction Ag plus to solid deposition Ag. At the anode, silver to solution silver in solid dissolution. Silver coulometer efficiency can decrease due to the presence of hydrogen peroxide at the anode. The presence of hydrogen peroxide can reduce the current at the cathode so that the cathodic efficiency decreases. 2 silver electrodes are used, one for deposition and the other secured of dissolved silver. Types of coulometer number 3 is iodine coulometer. The iodine coulometer is a type of chemical coulometer that operates based on the reversible redox reaction of iodine and iodide ions. It is primarily used to measure electric charge with high accuracy, making it valuable in analytical and electrochemical study. The amount of iron formed or consumed is determined by titration, using sodium thiosulfate or arsenic 3 as a treatment in the presence of starch as an indicator. Gravimetric analysis directly weighing to iodine if it precipitates out of the solution. Types of calorimeter number 4 is calorimetric calorimeters. They are based on the principle of developing a colored species with a reagent with a metal ion which may be analytically stripped. For example, the formation of a colored species for a cobalt ion with nitroso hydrocarbon salt and measurement of absorbance with a spectrophotometer. A metal ion may be cathodically reduced and subsequent absorbance may be measured. The colorimeter, the change is color is quantified using a colorimetric or spectrophotometric technique. The intensity of the resulting color is directly proportional to the concentration of the electrolyte, which is proportional to the total charge parts. Types of calorimeter number 5 is radioactivity calorimeters. A microcalorimeter based on counting deposit of silver has been described. The unknown silver solution is spiked with a known amount of radioactive silver, and then deposition is made on a platinum wire in a cell in series with one containing only radioactivity silver. Equal amounts of silver are plated on each cathode. The ratio of the radioactivity gives the amount of silver in the unknown solution. Key reaction may involve the first deposition of or dissolution of a radioactive material at the electrode, oxidation or reduction reaction involving radioactive ions. A known current is passed through the electrolyte, causing the radioactive material to either deposit on the electrode or dissolve into the solution depending on the direction of the current. After the electrolysis, the amount of radioactivity material is determined by measuring its decay activity using a radiation detector.
Next, we are talk about types of colorimetric methods. Colorimetric methods divided into two. First, constant current colorimetric, or called amperostatic colorimetry. Next, controlled potential colorimetry, or called potentiostatic colorimetry. First, we talk about constant current colorimetric or amperostatic colorimetric. First, before we talk about type primary and secondary constant, I want to explain you a constant current colorimetric is the current is maintained constant till the completion in the analytical reaction, which can be detected by a visual indicator solution or by potentiometric or spectrophotometric method. The quantity of electricity required to attain the end point is derived from the amount a column consumed. Constant current colorimetric divided into two. First, primary constant current colorimetric. In this technique, the element to be estimated undergoes direct reaction at the electrode with 100% efficiency. For secondary constant current colorimetry, this method has enjoyed the wider application and is frequently called a colorimetric titration. In a colorimetric titration, one of the reactant, titration, is quantitatively generated at an electrode which then stoichiometrically react with the analyte ions to be estimated. Next, I wanna tell you cell assembly. The cell assembly consists of a generator electrode at which the titration or reagent is generated and a counter electrode to complete the circuit as this picture. The generator electrode is a platinum foil or gauze with a large surface area. Next, talk about external generation of titration. Since internal generation of titration sometimes interferes with the titration, it's become necessary to generate the titration externally and deliver to the reaction or titration cell. An assembly of the type shown in this picture is generally used. For example, hydrogen and hydroxyl ions are produced by the electrolysis of sodium sulfate solution. The last, I want to tell you application of constant current colorimetric. First, neutralization titration. Secondly, precipitation and complex formation titration. And the last, redox titration.
And now, let's talk about special feature of colorimetric. First, colorimetric method give more accurate and precise than classical method because the electrical current can be controlled and measured with utmost maximal. The second, this method are suited for both routine as well as rare analysis, which involve electrolytic method of determination. The third, colorimetric titration are more popular and have the special advantage. And the fourth, titration which cannot be performed by conventional method can be easily performed colorimetrically. The five, colorimetric method give more accurate and precise because former is faster and requires simpler instrumentation and less expensive. And the last is control potential colorimetry is a quite sensitive method and has selectivity. From the special feature I mentioned earlier, we can get information about the advantages and the disadvantages. The advantages is no need to prepare standardization or store standard solution. The second is can prepare unstable reagent in situ, can they react almost as soon as they are generated. The third is straightforward to generate tiny quantities or reagent with good accuracy since it is easy to control current and time electronically. A single colorimetric titration apparatus can be used for redox, acid or base, precipitation, complexometric, and others. But the disadvantages is relatively higher cost, require highly trained personnel, long setup time, limited life of electrolysis cell, and the last is low sample throughput.
Okay, next I will explain some of the application of colorimetry method. Application of a potentiostatic colorimetry for the first is used in organic analysis. Controlled potential colorimetry method have widespread use in determination of several metal ions. As many as 55 elements of the periodic table can be determined by the cathodic reduction of metal ions to metallic state. Most of the metals can form amalgams with mercury, so mercury cathodes are usually prevented in this reaction. The second is analysis of radioactive materials. Colorimetry is used in the determination of uranium and plutonium due to the minimal interaction between the instrument and the sample. The third is microanalysis. This method is very effective for analyzing sample in small quantities with accuracy 0.5% and extreme sensitivity used in electrochemistry. Microcolorimetric analysis does not require external standard such as calibration and avoid the final step of drying and baking. The last one is using in determination of the amount of oxygen in the sample. Colorimetry is used to determine the oxygen level in a sample using cadmium electrodes and porous silver metal. This technique is effective because it does not require an external power source because the energy comes from the redox reaction. The second one is application in amperostatic coulometry. The application of amperostatic coulometry can have been used in neutralization titration. Coulometry titration is used to neutralize acid containing hydrogen ions by producing hydrogen ions on the electrodes to form butter. Mercury, silver chloride, and silver bromide electrodes are good counter electrodes for this reaction. The second one is a determination of butter content in Karl-Fischer reaction. Karl-Fischer reaction use coulometric titration to determine the amount of butter in a sample. The working electrode for this analytical reaction is an iodine electrode, while the reference electrode is a platinum electrode. To determine the amount of butter in a sample, the analysis must first be performed using reverse or direct titration. The third is precipitation and complex formation titration. Ions such as halides and mercaptans can be determined through complex formation or precipitation in the presence of anodially product silver ions. The last one is oxidation reduction titration or redox titration. Reduction of ferric ion to ferrous cation in adic solution can be used to determine the number of permanganate, chromat, or dichromat ions in a sample. The oxidation of cerium in sulfuric acid can be used to characterize several systems including titanium, iron, and uranium. The electrodes used for the system are polarized platinum electrodes and non-polarized reference electrodes, such as lead sulfate electrodes.
And the conclusion for our discuss is electrogravimetry analysis involves depositing and analyze electrolytical and weighting with instead of using chemical preparation. The study convert the significance of home potential polarization and it is type concentration and kinetic polarization in electrodeposition. Two methods, concentrated electrolysis and controlled method potential electrolysis, were explained along with their principal instrumentation and application. Coulometry analysis was introduced to further as to calculate mass deposition for different types of coulometer and coulometry methods such as potentiostatic and amperostatic coulometry were discussed. Potentiostatic coulometry principal application were detailed along with amperostatic coulometry called assemble, titration generation, and point detection.
Okay, that's all our presentation about coulometry.
Thank you for your attention.